Shit. Okay, I just spoke to myself a lot, but I'm gonna try to do it again. So, the situation. Okay, the situation is this one. Very. Okay, imagine this. You watch the movie Don't Look Up. Like, the movie technically is about, people say, climate change, but it can be also related to Don't Look Up because we are surrounded by satellites. And if the technology that I described in the other videos that has been happening to me is real, then it means that it's possible to implement from satellites. Why I say so? Because always when I used to be in Australia at a time where weren't that amount of satellites, I will experience more symptoms always in Australia than going abroad. I will experience voices abroad once in every single trip, like letting me know we are there, but I will not experience full-time psychosis. So check this out. There is a pattern. I suspect that my ex-girlfriend had the 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 aneurysm done by this technology. And why is that? Maybe they thought that I was a spy. Maybe, I don't know why they would use that. Or maybe someone tried to, or did a mistake and then tried to hide that mistake by giving me schizophrenia, you know? It's possible as well. Well, so I applied for my refugee visa 2013. The visa will stay for 5 years without any progress. And then I found no reason for which it could delay more. Then I arrived to Australia when I was 20. I applied for the visa. I was already like 22. And I was already 27, and I really wanted to study because the universities here in Australia, when you are a refugee and you have not been granted that visa, cost you an amount of money that is impossible to get, because as an asylum seeker you cannot work full-time, or you could, but no one wants to employ you because they don't have certainty about your stay in Australia. So it was difficult to get a job that would be stable, also rewarded, and then even if I would save money, it would take me, let's say, 1 year to pay 1 semester. So it's difficult, I mean, to do that, yeah. And I had been already 5 years. So I thought, fuck, I'll go to Germany. Yeah. I was in a protest. There was, at that time, the consul of Venezuela, and I explained him my situation, and he told me, why don't you go to Germany? Germany is right now opening the borders for refugees. And it was true. Many people was really pissed off in Germany, as you can see right now, the extreme right. But I thought, okay, I'll try to go to Germany. And then during that time I was talking with my ex-girlfriend. We were kind of doing business, and I told her, yeah, I will go to Germany because this situation, this visa is taking too long. I had not been able to start a life because I'm a someone that I was studying in Colombia in the best university, and I was probably not the best student, but I always in Australia keep reading books. You can always, I don't know, do intelligence work and check the list of books that I've been reading since I arrived in Australia, because they are dispersed in several libraries. Now, if I, yeah, okay, I was at that time thinking going to Germany, but with my ex-partner, then we start to do plans. Then we arranged that she gonna come here, we could travel a little bit here, then we go to New Zealand, and then we go back to Europe, first Italy, and then Slovenia. Okay, cool. And we arranged for us to get married in Sydney, and yeah, that was the plan. So when I was 2 months before that happened, she got an aneurysm, and then I flew to Slovenia, and she was in a coma. She almost died. When she woke up, she said that she will have lucid dreams. I won't go too much into this, but lucid dreams can be caused by these kinds of technology. Yeah, because I've been having them there as well, and I've been seeing advertisement. Okay, I've been seeing advertisement. I'm not gonna promote anything, but I've been seeing advertisement. But I'm seeing as well some terrible things and situations in which they put you kind of traps in the middle of the dream. This is the same kind of situation that you will see in this movie Deception or something like that. Yeah, what is that movie? Inception. That movie came out in 2010. Okay, so it's the same thing that's happening in Inception. Interesting, but you will see that eventually a pattern in movies will appear at some stage for people, obviously. But okay, then she experienced during her coma a lot of vivid dreams as well. She was traveling around the world in those dreams. Maybe they were checking if she was a spy as well, because I think they must have targeted me because they thought I wasn't a spy. But there are, as I said, there are papers that tells you that sometimes when people collect intelligence, they don't collect intelligence to find the truth, but they collect intelligence to find. And you must find. If you don't find, if that you are looking for is not there, keep looking. So it's funny. It's funny, but it's terrible. Because I've been 8 years. They could have done a mistake. They have noticed the mistake and they have not corrected. And they have been pushing me in situations in which I was supposed to create national news by saying that there is a bomb. Why? Because that was my second hospitalization. Yeah? The voices, the sensations, and everything that you perceive, it's a straight away, but it takes hours and months to guide someone in a specific situation, most likely using AI, in which a person will do something stupid. Yeah. In the first hospitalization, they were pushing me to be violent towards society, but I'm not a person who is violent. I mean, violence can be justified, but I have no reason for which violence can be justified, especially if you don't see, you are not sure, and there is not solid evidence of anything. Yeah, if I see someone who will try to hurt, I don't know, a woman in the street and she doesn't have anyone to help her, I will go and hit that motherfucker. That's not the problem. But if you are 24 hours listening to people wherever you go that treats you badly, you might start to feel some kind of angry against society. I remember once being in the middle of the this traffic light, which is the most busy in Melbourne, and I think is the quadrant most busy in Australia, which is in Flinders Street. I remember being there and hearing a lot of different, like, degrading stuff going towards myself, and I was thinking, actually, the burden of what I'm feeling is so overwhelming that if a person, who is not myself and might not be able to resist this, then might think that it's society and might plan something against society. Once you start to plan, believe me, I think there is no way back, because it feels that they are pushing you towards that place. Then I was thinking, if this might be the reason for which people might do, I don't know, a massive killing or things like that. Yeah? Because if you have access to gun and maybe you are someone hateful and you rationalize that this is society, eventually you will do something like that stupid. But believe me, I have been dealing with this 8 years, and my beliefs are very settled in logic, reasoning, love, being a human. You could think this is a kind of a frame of thinking that is called radical humanism, that was developed by Erich Fromm. So radical humanism, I'll do another video about it, because it's very wide and it's also something that continue to develop. But I was rather analyzing the voices and thinking this might be the unconscious of society. And it makes sense that if this is a military technology, which is what society cannot see, then remains in the let's say, the conglomerate of the unconscious. If I'm being targeted, is because this is not something that people know, but has remained in the collective unconscious. The conscious part of the collective is, let's say, to know things like we should have solidarity with each other. If you see someone in the street that is, I don't know, in a bad situation and just had an accident, then call the ambulance, or there are things like the conscious of society works in ways that most people know. The unconscious of society are the things that repress. Let's say the conscious of society is becoming a kind of a extreme right ideology, and in the unconscious of society, they don't know that this technology actually is creating this chaos for people like me. And the unconscious of society, will be eventually something that is hidden. It's a process that guides somehow society, or is in society, but not necessarily is open for everyone, but it's part of the whole, let's say, hyperstructure. talking about Anthony Gramscian terms. And well, Gramsci was an Italian guy, and I'm in Australia, so not really sure if you know that. But then Gramsci, I'm not gonna go into that, but okay, so we have the superstructure, yeah? We have the government, we have all the bodies of the government and whatever. And what is conscious is like if someone hits you in the face, then you go to the police, this blah blah blah, whatever. But in the unconscious, this is what's happening to me. They target me. I don't have a place to go to complain. Yeah, because people doesn't know that this is happening. Because there is not a legal procedure. Because this is supposed to be unprovable. Then it will become eventually provable in the future. That's why I continue doing these videos. And in the unconscious works in certain ways that we don't know how it works. Yeah? The point of the unconscious is that it's hidden. It reveals to us in strange ways. It's always working in problems that we need to solve. And the unconscious of society is also part of the society, but a conscious society acknowledges the unconscious, and an unconscious society is not aware. It's not aware of, as well as a human that is not aware, that a human aware will know that there is a path that at the end finish in death, because we all die, and we know that we are alive, and we know that in the meantime we can do whatever we want, because that's the point of being alive and being conscious. Then the unconscious is something that works for us, for the society, in the, let's say, the collective manner. And what it reflects about the society, from my point of view, is that I'm an immigrant. I'm a refugee. I'm potentially a spy, yeah? Because maybe that's the paranoia of the unconscious. Maybe the society is unconsciously paranoid and has not put that in front of them and saying, fuck, we are actually mentally ill, literally, because we are too paranoid. We are afraid of things that we shouldn't be afraid. That's my lecture on that. Because I could experience it in that way. Not many people is in my position. Probably I'm the only one in Australia, and I don't know how many people in the world is in this position. Yeah. I also know electromagnetism. I study a few semesters of electrical engineering. I know a little bit of AI, a lot of social sciences, and little things of everything. Okay, now, not saying that I'm too smart, but saying that I'm in a, let's say, position that is not common. Now, it feels that this thing leads you to have anger towards society, and it feels that they guide you to harm society. It feels that they push you to the extreme, and you have two choices: do a mistake and become news, or go to the mental health hospital. In my first hospitalization, I went to the mental health hospital. When I went to the mental health hospital, they almost didn't want to admit me because I was fine. I see you fine. And I was, no, I'm hearing voices. Something is going on. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not crazy, as you can see, but yeah, I'm having sensations that shouldn't be there. And well, when but I want to talk about continue with the story about Mike's girlfriend. Uh, so she's supposed to come to Australia. We're supposed to go to New Zealand. And they go back to uh, Europe. 2 months before she came here, she got an aneurysm, and I received my visa. Technically, I received my visa, and the next week she had the aneurysm. Something like that. It was something like I received my visa, and she had the aneurysm. Then I flew to Slovenia. And very interestingly, I I had to I was you know I was experiencing already some kind of well, now the screen just turned off, and it works whenever it wants.